Thanks for joining us. Tonight we are going to be reviewing two red wines from New Brunswick. And New Brunswick, for those of you tuning in, is on the east coast of Canada. Now the two red wines that we're going to be looking at tonight are from Magnetic Hill. And Magnetic Hill is near Moncton. And one of the things that I think is really interesting in this winery and these wines specifically is that they're really taking homage to where they're from and using that in terms of their new releases. So Magnetic Hill has always been this tourist attraction, and there's a lot of little things to do around that area. But in these new releases of this winery, and the winery has been there for a few years, they have this Marquette, and this is the 2019, and you can see all these little patterns here on the label. Now, the story of this label is that there is a ferrous liquid, which is basically, to break it down, an iron minerals in liquid, and it forms shapes based on a magnet. And that was done, and it was photographed and then used on the labels, which is super cool. Also, actually, I'm gonna come back to that. And then this one is the Loadstone Red. Now, Loadstone, for those of you who may not be aware, it is a magnetic mineral, and you can Google that. I'm not going to go into super detail on it, but I really appreciate the graphics and how that's been incorporated into the new labels of these 2019 releases from Magnetic Hill. So again, we're going to be looking at the Loadstone Red, and we're going to be looking at the 2019 Marquette. What I wanted to come back to about Marquette is that super cool, in just recently in August of 2019, I believe it was, that Ontario has now identified Marquette as being one of the grapes that they would include as a VQA. And I think that's really interesting because just kind of east-south of Ontario, we have New Brunswick, and we grow Marquette. We have been growing it, and we're doing a pretty good job, I think, on that. So I think Ontario announcing that Marquette was going to be part of the VQA designation is exciting. Now, also, Marquette is kind of one of those like descendants from Pinot Noir, so in your mind you might be thinking like it's light and low tannins and low acidity and all those things, and Marquette, I find, is one of those interesting surprise grapes that you're going to taste. Now, in both of the wines we're going to be looking at, the color on them are really a vibrant ruby color, and it almost has like a magenta hue to it. Now, the Marquette, when you smell this, it's a very delicate aroma. You get these like subtle floral notes, possibly violet. You get like this cherry and a little bit of baking spice and some currant in there. Now, when you're looking at the Loadstone Red, it's more aromatic, but when I smell this, I instantly like go back to childhood, and I'm like, it's cherry cola. So for me, there's like cherry and currants and chocolate all up in this. But on this, you also get like a titch of herbal note, which is really interesting on that. Now, these are 2019 vintages, so I'm expecting them to be young, to be youthful, to be vibrant. And in the taste profile, it really hits that mark. So on the Marquette, you're getting that vibrant acidity, you're getting that soft tannin structure, but the structure is there and it's balanced with that acidity, and you get those tart cherry notes that I'd be expecting, and you're getting like that little bit of titch of spice on the back end, which is quite lovely. And it's gonna pair really well with a lot of different things. Did you hit the subscribe? Because I'm about to drop some pairings on you. And I asked for, you know, subscribing before I give you the pairing. But before I get to the pairing, I'm gonna move over to the Loadstone. So the Loadstone Red, again, show you that label right here. Nice little graphic there. Again, really great in that vibrant ruby hue with a titch of like magenta almost to it, more so than what I would call purple. It's more on like the pinky, that magenta side. Again, cherry cola, like I can't wait. The memories. This one's a little bit more fuller bodied, and though softer, more round. It has those like cherry, it kind of has like a black currant note to it. You get that chocolate and you get that spice, though the spice on it isn't super hot. It's just mild right there. And both of these wines come in at like 12.5%, so you're not getting a lot of heat from alcohol or anything like that. So although young wines, they certainly deliver in the cherry notes, the vibrancy, the youthfulness. The Marquette one, I want to say, have it slightly chilled. It's going to give you more reminiscent notes of like that Gamay, those Pinot Noirs. That floral note, although that's subtle on the top of this, is very enticing, which for me, the aroma of wines, sometimes that's all it needs to like hook me. So yeah, just a titch of floral on there. It's got those cherry, but also like that little bit of baking spice on there, where when you're looking at the Loadstone, the smell comes right up out of the glass at you. And it's, for me, again, said it before, cherry cola. You're getting those cherry notes, the currants, you're getting that chocolate, and a little bit of herbiness to it. And on the flavor profile, everything's following suit. So, did you wait for the pairing? Did you hit subscribe? Because I have some Havarti cheese right here. Goes perfect with both of these. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hit subscribe, share it out with like 3 friends or 6, you know, whatever you feel. Cheers.